It's really incredible to be here. And my topic is on being service. And in being service, I want to acknowledge a few people before I start. And I want to start by acknowledging Judy and Eric. And I'm not sure where Eric is. Are you in the room? There's Eric back there. He's serving. And they are the leaders of this event. And without them, we wouldn't all be here right now because of their energy and vision and leadership. And so let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Steve, he's always teaching us through who he's being. And there's something that I've been noticing, and some of you, if you've been paying attention, you may have noticed it. But before Steve has been speaking, he's been checking with Judy, the leader, and asking Judy, is it good if I speak? And that's intentional. Because who Steve's being is he's honoring the leader. And so that's a really, really powerful thing. And so I'm honoring the leaders because of you guys. We're all here. And I also, I want to acknowledge you, Amy. And we're all in this room right now because of you. Because of the sacrifice that you made when you saw the need to write the book and it wasn't on your goals list. And I don't know all the sacrifice that you made. I know some of it. And so this is rippling the world because of you. And I have a better relationship with my daughter, which is priceless. So thank you, Amy. I'm committed to the being movement for the rest of my life. And Dave Orton, Dave, where are you? Dave is the one that coined the phrase that is now being spoken in this room, being movement. So let's give Dave some acknowledgement for that. Thank you, Dave. I didn't have leading the being movement on my goals list either. Steve and I had a conversation 2 years ago, and I shared with him that I felt he needed a Facebook group to support all us book enthusiasts. Steve didn't ask me to create a Facebook group. I didn't come to the call to enroll him in a Facebook group. It was just like screaming at me on the call. So have you ever felt like God's tugged on your heart for something, and you feel that tug, and then the question is, what do you do with it? Do you answer the call? So God was tugging on my heart to use my gifts and talents in that way, and we didn't come to the call with that as the intention, and that's what emerged. And so I started being the leader. No one said I was the leader, I was just being that. And then that evolved into the Instagram and the LinkedIn and so forth. And so because I've been personally touched by Steve, what you teach and how it's impacted my family. I had an experience on 2 nights ago. I guess it was Friday morning. I got a text from my wife. And when I'm done speaking, I wasn't planning on leaving. I was planning on leaving tomorrow, but I am going to be leaving when I'm done speaking today. And she sent me the following text at 3:41 in the morning, and that's 2:41 in California. I have an emergency. Please call me as soon as you can. I've never gotten a text like that from my wife before. And so when I got on the phone with her, I was half asleep, and I was getting ready to come and be with all of you yesterday. And she was sharing what she was sharing. And what was going through my mind is one of my declarations, which is I am the world's greatest husband. Not saying I'm better than you as if you're a husband, but just that's my stand for my wife. So as I'm half asleep and she's communicating what she's communicating, instead of freaking out, I was completely calm. And I was thinking, okay, what does the world's greatest husband do in the situation? And what I got was just listen. And so I just listened to her. And that was in the background yesterday as I was here, and we both agreed, my wife and I, that I would come home tonight. And so, Steve, thank you for helping me be a better husband. With that, I want to bring my daughter up, and then we'll do some more acknowledgement. Sarah, if you want to come up to the front of the room here. So, let me tell you who this extraordinary woman is. She is one of the most mentally tough people in this room. She is a freshman at University of Arizona, so she drove to be with Dad last night and today. She wasn't forced to come here or talked into coming here. She had a choice to come, and she chose to come. And if you've ever gone to college before, Friday night and Saturday night, it's a lot of good parties. And she chose to come and hang out with Dad and be here. And so she got some things out of yesterday. We were talking about it last night. And so I wanted her to share with you, parents out there and non-parents, anything that you want to share. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
So my dad just asked me to speak like 20 minutes ago. So I just wrote some stuff down in my notes. When I heard yesterday the thing about how like it's like kids just have all these dumb, annoying questions. Like your reaction of like what your kids are telling you like means so much. Like just brushing it off or like not really caring, like it's a big deal. And like my mom, she's like my best friend. And like I get so excited to tell her things. And like if she's just like too busy in the moment, just doesn't really care, like, and she just kind of brushes it off, like you have no idea like how much that hurts, like from your parents. I want to thank like Steve and Amy specifically because my dad has made the most huge shift I've ever noticed in my whole life. And like he wouldn't have done that if it weren't for Steve and Amy. And like if your kids are so excited to tell you something, like that is amazing. So many kids have bad relationships with their parents. And if you're just gonna brush that off when they're so excited to tell you something, just know like that hurts so bad without you even realizing it. And like this makes me so anxious being up here, but if I can help one other kid by getting this point across to their parents and them changing the way that they decide to parent, like I'll do it 1,000,000 times over.
Thank you, honey. You did so good. Thank you, honey. You're great. Thank you. Wow. Wow. Okay, what I want to do next, we're talking about being in service, and there are some people that serve the community that have not been acknowledged yet, and I would like to acknowledge them by coming up on stage. So if we could have Tanya and Team Tuck come to the front of the room. If we could have, Joan Claire with LinkedIn, Joan Claire, if you're out there, if you can come up. Jenny and Eric with YouTube. And EPEC with the podcast. Come on up on stage. And the staff for this event, if you're a staff member of this event, I'd love you to come up on stage. Okay? Okay. So, anybody else coming on up? A few more people? So, Sammy, can you come up to the front, please? Sammy. Okay. So, there's all kinds of things happening behind the scenes. And these folks are not, they don't get acknowledged to the level that they really need to be acknowledged. And so, where is EPEC at? EPEC, she runs our podcast, okay? There's like 70 plus episodes, 80 episodes, okay, free that you can listen to and share all about being. It's the best being podcast on the planet, and she leads it. And our interviewers, they're not here today, Meredith and Philip, okay? And then we have Joan Claire. Joan, did you know we have a LinkedIn group? Joan Claire runs our LinkedIn group, okay? Eric and Jenny. Eric leads the YouTube channel. Jenny supports the YouTube channel. So all these free videos that go up for you guys, okay? And then we got Team Tuck, and Tanya leads Team Tuck. Do you want to announce the next book reading?
Thank you, everyone. Our next book reading will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can always check 7 a.m., please excuse me. To confirm that, you can always go to the Facebook page and go under the events section. And under the events, you will always see the event post as well as in the featured section. But always on Wednesday evenings, we have them. And again, those are at 10 p.m. and on Sundays at 10 a.m. And I am speaking for Eastern, so if you could convert that to your time zone. But this particular place that we create in the book readings are a sacred space. They're a sacred space for each and every one of us. And it allows us to go deeper within that chapter as we read about ourselves and as we listen about ourselves. And then we create a beautiful opportunity for each of you to share about yourself. In this sacred space, you're found with love and supported with love. And that's how we lead, is through love. So I invite you, if you have never been to a book reading, come and check it out. You can always catch a replay as well under the event past sections. However, it's just as much as you are experiencing a divine transformation today, as a possibility, coming to a book reading, you can also create a divine transformation for yourself by allowing yourself to be supported as you are growing through these questions on the back of the book, so delightfully created by Steve Hardison. And I honestly want to take a moment and thank you, Amy, for directly impacting my life and who I'm being in the life of my children, and in life for my husband, and in life as a leader. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
All right. We have Fari leads our welcome team. Let's give Fari some love. Okay. Dave Orton runs our Instagram. And Sammy, thank you so much for just delivering with excellence for all of us. Let's give Sammy some love. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Tomorrow's chapter is love if they want to join us for lunch.
Okay. All right. So, something to just put in the back of your mind is this. Are you being acknowledgement with the people in your life, especially the people that are the most important to you? And that's something just to check in on, and if you're not being acknowledgement, something that you could work on perhaps. And if we could bring up these Operation Underground Railroad slide here. So in your workbooks on page 2 is this QR code. And I want to be service for you and for Operation Underground Railroad for just a moment here. And what I want you to think about is in addition to making a donation, which we all can do, you just pull out your wallet and with your credit card, you can make a donation. But I want you to sit with this thought. What else could you do besides making a personal donation? Right? Like right now, I'm using my very limited time to serve our charity, to motivate you to just sit with the thought, just think, could you go to your company when our course is done here, you get back home, could you go to your company and tell them about it and rally a bunch of people in your company to contribute? Could you all do that? Could you go to your social media and could you post on your social media the QR code? Okay? I talked to my daughter, right? And I said, you know what? I didn't tell her she has to. I encouraged her to. And I said, if you'll donate to this, you'll learn the giving mindset. And I was encouraging her to do that. So I want you to think about, in addition to making a donation yourself, let me just check in with you guys. How many of you would be willing to do one or more things beyond just donating? Just how you could use your gifts and talents to make a difference for the charity. Okay, awesome. That's what's going to get us to the 100,000. And if we get to the 100,000, we'll go to 200,000. Maybe we'll do $250,000. Okay? Yeah. Okay, I got a couple more minutes here, so I want to teach you a few things, and then I'll turn the meeting over to our next speaker. So I'm wearing a very special tie. I have not worn a tie in years. And this is a special tie because it's the University of Arizona. And that's where my daughter goes to school. And my daughter, she gave me this tie for Christmas. It was meaningful for her. And when she found out I was speaking, she says, would you wear the tie? And I said, yes, I'll wear the tie. Now, can you all get, when your daughter asks you to wear a tie like this, do you all get why I'm wearing the tie? Okay? Well, here's what I will also want you to get. I would wear your tie. If you asked me before I spoke today, whatever your tie is, if you asked me to wear your tie, I would wear it. If you had a special necklace and you came to me and said, hey, Eric, would you wear this necklace? It'd be meaningful to me if you would do that when you're I would do that for every single one of you here in this room. And one of the things about my way of leading is I have an open door policy. That means you can come to me at any time on anything. And Rafael, who I don't think is in the room, are you in the room, Rafael? I think for spiritual reasons he's not here, but he didn't really like one of my posts. Imagine that. He didn't like one of my Facebook posts. And so he said, I want some time with you. I don't like your post. No problem. Open door policy. So we get on the Zoom. And he says to me, before I tell you what I don't like, I'm not in a very good place today. Something's going on in the background with my family. I might say some things that you might not want to hear beyond what I have to say to you because I'm not in a good space. No problem. Share what you want to share. So he shared what he wanted to share. We worked through it. He had a perspective and I had a what? A perspective. That's all it was. We worked through it. It was great. And then we're getting ready to hang up the Zoom, and I said, Rafael, you said something to me about you're having this difficult day, something's going on in the background with your family. I said, if you want to talk about that, I'm happy to talk about that. Not right now because we were finishing the call, but to schedule another call. Later on that day, he goes, can we talk? I said, sure. So we get on the phone or the Zoom or whatever, and we were talking. And I told him this story, and I'm gonna wrap with this. Well, I'll probably tell you one more thing other than this story. But this is a story about I don't remember if it was the last time, Steve, we were together, one of the times. And I got an email from my ex-wife the day I had a coaching session with Steve. And the email said, I'm claiming one of the kids on my taxes, and I'm just letting you know. And so I cover all the expenses for my kids. My kids are adults now, so I don't claim anymore. But back when they were not adults, one of them anyway. So instead of asking me, I'm paying all the bills, I get the tax write-off, right? Instead of asking me, would it be okay if she told me? And I'm like, oh, no, you didn't. Just out of curiosity, anybody have an ex-spouse in the room? Okay, so maybe you've gotten to an awesome place of forgiveness, and I hope you have. And at that moment, I hadn't. And so that was the day I had my session with Steve. So I had a decision to make. Who was I going to be? And so I thought to myself, she must need that money more than I need the money, even though she's demanding it, telling me, not asking. I'm not receiving it the way I'd like to receive it, but maybe that's what the case is. So I called her. We don't usually talk on the phone. She answers the phone, and I think she was bracing for me not being so nice, like being a real jerk. She goes, yeah. I said, I got your email. She goes, yeah. I said, that's fine. You can go ahead and you can take the deduction. You can write out. You can use that. No problem. She started crying. That was a big lesson for me. And my ex-wife and I, we do better than we've ever done because of you, Steve. Because of your role modeling for me. So thank you. So I want to wrap with one final thought, and it has to do with, Austin, could you come up to the front of the room, please? And we need a microphone. Do we have a mic runner? I got time for 2 last quick things. Okay. Austin, come on up here. Let's give him a hand. So I did a post and I said, hey, if anybody's coming to the event and you don't know anybody, let me know, and then we can connect before the event. And that way you'll know somebody when you get here. So Austin messages me. And he goes, hey, I saw your posts, and I don't know anybody, so I want to know you, Eric. So I go, cool. So we're chatting. And so as we're connecting through Facebook Messenger, I asked you to do a what?
You asked me to do a video.
I asked him to do a video in the Facebook group, the Arizona Interest Group. And you said what?
I'm leaning towards not doing it, but if I find the courage, I'll get it done before I get on the plane.
Yeah, that's scary, Eric. And I get it, right? Because he's saying, I don't know anybody in the room, and I want to know somebody, and I want him to know somebody, so he feels good, right? So I say to him, do the video, and then he said, I'm not sure. And I said, I'm lovingly going to nudge you. That was the essence of it. I'm lovingly nudging you to do it. And I didn't know what he was going to do, right? And then he did it. So he's an amazing guy. He is here because of an email, right? He sent Steve an email in 2009. That's why he's here. And Steve responded, and they've been interacting over email, and Steve gave Austin a bunch of assignments, and Austin did them. And so if you get a chance to connect with him before the event's done, ask him about how he met Steve. It's an amazing story. He's an amazing guy. Austin, thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
All right.
And I had a chance to thank Bobby and ask him to thank his dad, Steve, because it was Steve's book that pointed me to Steve Hardison.
That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Fun stuff. Last thing I want to share is a very brief story of a conversation that Steve and I had with Clayton Mask. And Steve did a really nice gesture for me making an introduction to Clayton. Clayton and I are now doing business together. And so we're on this 3-way call. This is right when the Facebook group had been launched. And I said to Clayton, I haven't even told Steve this yet, but Steve's listening. I said, Clayton, I'm committed to running the Facebook group for the next 20 years. And this is a free thing that I'm doing to serve the community. So the question is, why, when I've got 4 kids and I'm running my sales training company and I'm a dad and a husband and I'm busy being me, why would I make a 20-year commitment to do something for free? Why would the commitment be that long? And the answer is because that's what the job required. It wasn't a goal. It was, this is what's going to be required to really make this thing work. And I want you to think about that in the context of your life. You're here, you got big goals and dreams. What's gonna be required to do it? And so Ankush did this, he shared this. Is Ankush here? Ankush, we're so blessed to have Ankush as a speaker and to be on this planet. And Steve said, you're MG. And Ankush sat with that and said, what does that actually look like to be that? So let's be like Ankush and let's ask ourselves, how do I really need to show up? Because you can shift out of this event. You can make a permanent shift. Your life will be never the same. So thank you all for coming. It's been great to be with you. I'm going to turn it over to the next speaker. Thank you. 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 Thank you, guys.